Alright, first let me show you the dimension of these farms. So just a note, any snow, iron, or gold blocks here are just to show you distances, and they're completely temporary. So this is 6 by 11 grass platform to start, and we're gonna build this farm 200 blocks up because we're gonna be falling long distances, so we don't want to like build it at spawn level, or else we're just gonna hit the void too soon. So make it high up. Anyways, this first grass platform is 6 by 11, one block gap in between, and this is 6 by 11 again, right? And then we go 9 blocks down. So I mean 9 blocks is in. This tower is 9 blocks tall, and then the grass layer is here, and we're gonna go down from this side, not this side. As you can see, there's like a gap where there should be grass, but we don't need grass there. So from this side, we go 9 blocks down, and then we go 11 by 12. So right here, look, 11 by 12. And if you do it right, if you go down 9 blocks in this side, then you should notice that there's a gap here. So like so. And then we can remove all these blocks. So this is what it should look like when it's clean. Like so. Alright. And now we're from the bottom layer on this side, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, the third to this edge right here, this edge. We're gonna go down 22 blocks. So this tower of snow is 22 blocks long, right? And then we're gonna rebuild it, but it's gonna be shifted 1 down and 1 to the left. So for example, you see how instead of starting like right here, we started right instead of starting right here, we started right here instead. So you see we're supposed to fall onto this block right here, you know, see? So yeah, if that makes any sense. I don't know, it's kind of weird for me to explain. So that this tower is 22 blocks, and make sure you're doing it right, or else you're gonna have to rebuild all the grass platforms. And then just do the exact same thing, right? And then see from here, 1, 2, 3, then go down 22 blocks, and make the grass like this. All right, let me show you. So, what? Let me use snow, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right. And you see, make sure that instead of doing this, you're starting the grass platform like this. No, you don't want that. Instead, we start the grass platform like that, I guess. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So you see 6 blocks, and then we're gonna make this long 11. So this is already 3, so we need 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, 11. 6 by 11. 1 block gap in between, and we're gonna repeat that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then grass layer is gonna be here. So we're gonna go down. So we need to make it 11 by 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we're going to make it by 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like that. And to make sure you did it right, if you make a 9 block tall pillar right here, there should be a gap right here. See? Alright, so if you're using snow blocks like me, remove them all. And then just, if this is the first layer you're building, repeat it 3 more times. You know what I mean? Go down 22 from right here. No, not right there, right here. Go down 22 block pillar. Okay, so now let me remove this snow blocks right here. Yeah. Okay, so let me just say something right now. This farm is designed for bee flowers specifically, with non-bee flowers, like a complement or an option. But That's why we only use 4 pickers, because we only have 4 trees, because that's the max amount of beehives you can have in your island. But if you want to make this farm bigger, use tier 2 conveyors. Otherwise, if you just want to keep it like this, use tier 1. I'm just telling you right now, I don't know if it's viable to make this farm bigger, because then you just waste your time and it'll be even more laggy. But you can test it. But if you're gonna make a farm bigger, use tier 2. Otherwise, use tier 1. We're gonna use tier 1s because even though they are slower, we're still gonna be able to water all the flowers in time, and they don't like produce light or anything like the tier 2 ones do, so they're a lot less laggy. Even though it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, it just makes the farm slightly, ever so slightly more efficient, right? So, anyways, 1 block gap here, right? 1 block from the edge, we're gonna make a line of conveyors all the way out, and then we're gonna extend the line when we reach the end. 1, 2, 3. 3 conveyors, and then we're gonna turn right and make our way across, and then turn right here, and then go backward. If you're gonna place them backwards, make sure you press R twice, and then make it so that this conveyor line is going this way, this one's going that way, and this one is 2 blocks from the edge. So see, 1, 2. This is 1 block. See, just like so. And then when you get to the edge, you're gonna add an extra conveyor, like that. So that means we're gonna fall, and find the conveyor you're gonna fall in. I think it's this one. Let's see. If you let yourself fall, you should be able to land on this one, right? So from there, make sure it's going this way. We're gonna turn right here, and then go across, and make sure this is 1 from the edge because it's this side again. So we're gonna turn right here. See? 1 block because you see it corresponds to that side. See? Like that. Get it? Alright. And then now that we're at the edge again, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3 blocks out. Turn right. Keep going. And then I think we turn right here. Right? And then we go across until we reach this gap. So we're gonna have a gap right there. So right at the edge. And this is 2 blocks, right? This is 1 block. See how this corresponds to that? And that's 2 block. This is a 2 block as well. Remember, make sure you have that right. Alright? Now, you see, when we fall, we're gonna land right onto here. And that's where we start our next conveyor line. So just repeat that. I'm gonna fast forward this. Okay, so that should be good. Just in case maybe you forgot, make sure this end has 1 extra going out so that you fall onto here. Alright, got it? Alright, cool. Okay, now we're gonna make the collection and fueling system. So from each module, go down 4 blocks like this. So there should be a 4 block gap, right? Let's just place some temporary grass. Alright, you're gonna use pastel slabs or like solid slabs because pastel/solids, they have no texture. You notice? See? No texture. So they're less laggy than using blocks with texture, so use those instead. Okay, so now we're gonna find the ideal location for our flower picker that it'll collect the flowers for us. So find the center of this little strip here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So that means this block right here is the center. So there's a 5 block gap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then that's 5. See? Now we're gonna go down by 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 blocks. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 blocks long. Then we're gonna place our flower picker here, like so. Now to test it, let's get a fuel barrel extractor, right? Right? Place a barrel in there to give it fuel to test. Right, so let's say I get some fucking... Okay, so let's say I get mundane lilies, right? If I place a mundane lily here, 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 see, those are harvested. This one's gonna get harvested, right? Right? Give it a second. Yep, it got harvested. Okay, that means it works for this layer. Now let's test the bottom layer. Here, 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 and here. Let's see. Okay, so this is the right location for it. Good. Now we've locked it down. Now we're gonna mark it. So get like a unique block to mark it. So the flower picker rests here. Okay, so mark it because we're gonna place it later. Because we're gonna have to make other blocks floating, and we need space to make them to float. So we're gonna do that real quick. So first we're gonna make a fuel barrel extractor float. So we're gonna need bamboo for that, right? Okay, so this block is gonna be our pipe junction, right? And this block is gonna be our petroleum tank, right? So I'm using unique blocks to mark it. I don't know if that makes sense for you. So, anyways, and this block right here will be where we place our fuel barrel extractor. So let's do that right now. So bamboo, like this. I showed you how to make blocks float at the beginning of the video. So in order to make this float, we can't just place it off the bamboo right here. So this is the input. Like this is the block. So like when it's hovering, you see the block we place it on. You see it's placed on this block right here, right? And to see how we can't place it, what if we press R twice, rotate, give it a little like camera angle-y things, and then now you can place it. See, place it. We break the bamboo, boom, it floats. So we're gonna have to make the extractor float first because we needed space for that. Now let's make the tank float next. So get our petroleum tank, place it here, and place the bamboo block here. For the tank, it's kind of iffy to get it to float. Like you have to press R twice again. Like I said, R. You see, R. Now we can place it. And then make sure when you place it backwards, see, like this has to be the input in order to place it backwards. See, like that. Okay, making blocks float is completely optional except for the tree. But I highly recommend you make blocks float because it makes the farm ever so slightly better because you use less blocks. Alright? Now we're going to place our pipe junction. So it goes right here. So place the forge hammer. Like so. Boom. And then now we're going to place the pipe right here. Alright, that's all we're going to do for now. Now I'm going to show you how to do the floating tree. Repeat this step for all 4 of the modules, I guess. So do that there. Let me go do that real quick. Okay, so now we're gonna make the floating trees. This is the most annoying part of building this farm, so just be prepared. This might take a while. Okay, so our sapling, you see this is where we marked our flower pickers, right? Our sapling is gonna be on this block. But if you notice, if I try to place a flower picker here, I can't. Well, if that, let's say that sapling is floating, now we can. So we're gonna have to make that tree float, alright? So that the flower picker can fit in that spot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna manipulate the tree to grow in only one direction, first of all. So we want the branch to face this way. So from the tree, this block is where the tree is. We're gonna place a block right here instead. So the tree is resting like that, right? And just for convenience, I'll show you why we do this. Place a block here, and then place a block here. Okay, so place blocks like that, I guess. Alright, now let's do that for the other 2. So let me show you. Like that. Place a block here, and then place a block here. And then the sapling goes here. Place a block there, so the branch goes this way. Okay, you got it. Okay, now we're just gonna have to wait for them to grow. Okay, but before that's done, get out grass blocks, Greg's hammer, a net, and bee jar. And this is why we use the opal pickaxe, okay? When building this farm, there might be a time where you accidentally hit the pine sap tree and you break it. And you don't want that if you're using a voidmatic. So with the opal pickaxe, it takes like 6 hits to break the pine tree, so you should be fine to not accidentally break it. And the opal pickaxe, it works fine against most blocks. So yeah, let's wait for the tree to grow. Okay, one of these trees grew. So what you're gonna do is, this is not gonna work all the time. There's only a chance it'll work because it relies on islands being stupid. So basically, here's what's happening, right? When you break a tree, right? It takes a tiny amount of time for the tree to turn back into a sapling. So there's a brief moment where it's not there, and then it gets placed as a sapling. So the idea is, when you use Greg's hammer, let's place a grass block right here so we have space to stand. When you use Greg's hammer, you're breaking the tree and the grass at the same time. So align it so that it looks like this, that these 2 blocks are highlighted, right? Then break it. Okay, that didn't work. So see, that's why we place those blocks right there so that we can retry it like that. So just place it back like that. Let's try it on this tree. So place the block to stand right here. And let's see. These 2 are highlighted. Boom. See, it's floating. Now, if you get the sapling to float, here's your next step. Place the grass block here and place a bamboo right there. So that way, fuck, what's the word? Okay, so the reason we do this is now we're gonna make it so that the branch goes this way, right? And then we're gonna place a bee jar. We want the bee jar to land. Oh, okay. The reason we use bamboo here is because we're gonna make the branch go this way, and we're gonna make the bee jar land on the branch, and that's not gonna happen every time because bees, they pick a random spot in the tree. So we're gonna have to like re-break the tree like 100 different times in order to get it onto the branch. So the bamboo is there so that when we eventually remove it, you see the pine sapling will still float. You see? So you only need to do the Greg's hammer thing once to each tree. After that, we just place the bamboo and then we're safe. Okay? So now let me demonstrate again on this tree. Let's see if it works. Oh, it worked. Nice. All right, let's see on this tree. Will it work? These 2 highlighted. Yep, it worked. Now I just gotta wait for this one. And make sure you place the bamboo quick before the tree regrows, right? Like that. And like that. And once you get it like this, you can remove these blocks. So like see over here. That regrew. But like you see over here, I can break these blocks now. Okay, so this tree grew. It's on the bamboo. Now it's grown. Now I think the best way to get it to on the branch is you stand in this tank and then you use the bee jar here. Nope. See, it didn't get on the branch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna capture the bee. Motherfucker. Capture. Oh yeah. In order to get bees to spawn, just place like some random flowers like anywhere around it. It's like, for example, we'll place some random flowers like right here, right? That'll get bees to spawn. So see, it didn't land on the branch, so it's supposed to land right here on this branch. So now we're gonna cut it down, and as you can see, it's floated. It's on the bamboo, so it'll place back. If you have a floating sapling and then you break the tree, if you have a floating tree then you break it, the sapling will just disappear. So the bamboo makes it so the sapling stays safe. But when we eventually break it again, you see the sapling's still standing. Okay, the tree, I guess. So let's try it again on here. So let's see. We stand on the tank. Nope, didn't land. See, this is where it gets tedious. You know what I mean? There's multiple steps. It's not gonna work the first time every time. All right. Okay. Let me Greg hammer this. Okay, floating sapling. Now we can get rid of this and place that there. And do not get rid of this grass block because it's manipulating the branch to grow this way. Okay. Alright, so just for now, let me place some random flowers here so that bees will spawn when I place the bee jar. So that the bees won't wander off, per se. Place like a couple. You don't just place like one. Place like a couple so that when there's multiple bees, like they won't wander off. Alright, yeah. That's plenty of bees for flowers. Just like 5 or 10. Probably enough. I don't know. Alright, let's wait for the trees to grow. Okay, now we have this tree right here. Let's see. Place a bee jar. Nope. I don't know if there's a specific place you can stand in order to manipulate the beehive spawn, so let's try it again here. Nope. Make sure you capture the bee if it fails, okay? Otherwise the bee will wander off and that's a whole hassle. Okay, let's see here. Yes, it's on the branch, you see? Now keep that tree. Now we're gonna get rid of the grass bamboo thing. And you see, because it was laying on bamboo, it's not gonna break. See? Boom. Chilling. Okay, so now we're just gonna leave that bee to reproduce. I wouldn't recommend placing multiple bee jars in one hive, or else that might confuse the bees and they won't assign to this tree and they'll wander off. But once you get the beehive on this branch and you got the tree floating, remove this grass block and remove that, I guess. Now we have the bees acclimated into the right hives, so just give them some time to reproduce. So see, this one has 2 already, even though I only placed 1 bee. But if you notice, the beehive's location is equidistant to the grass in the farm because it's in the exact center, right? That's not exactly true for the same layer down here, but it doesn't really matter because this is mostly for lavenders. The second layer here is just for convenience or for options, you know, because why not? Okay, so now we're gonna add our flower pickers back because we removed the grass block here and it is floating, we should be able to place our flower picker. So let's get our floating materials. So grass, flower picker, and forge hammer. So we're gonna place the flower picker right here. That's the one we're gonna place off of. Now we're gonna place bamboo here, and then right here. Then break everything else. Alright, so now the flower picker's there. Now we're gonna place the storage system. So let's get some randomizers and tier 2 input output chests. And if you're on a normal slot, I'm assuming you're obviously using dev vending, so I guess place those. But if you're using a dev vending, then use a filter conveyor instead. So filter, one side filters the fertiles into one dev vending, one side filters into the other. But if you're in hardcore like me, then you're gonna want a 4-way split into 4 different chests. So let's do that. So right here, so randomizer to 4 outputs. Then we're gonna get our slabs. We're using pastel slabs because they are slabs, so they're half a block, so it's easier for the game to process, and they have no texture, so it's less laggy, ever so slightly. You know, every little thing matters in this farm. Try to make it as efficient as possible. So you can either make these chests float, or you can just place slabs. If you like breaking and replacing the chests, then place slabs. I'm assuming with dev vendings, I don't know how they work, so you can make those floating, I guess. But just make sure you get the rotations right so you know how to make them float. But otherwise, we're going to place the chest like that. Boom. Okay, there, that works. Okay, so now let's repeat that for all of the pickers. Okay, now that that's done, each of the flower pickers have a storage system, right? Now we're going to work on that, whatever these tanks are, so I explained in the videos why we have like a junction here in a tank, because we only want 1 petroleum fuel going into the flower picker every 20 minutes, right? Okay, so we're gonna split the other 5 or 4 because sometimes this receives 4. So this 4 goes into this tank, right? The reason we have a tank is because okay, the reason we have a tank here instead of just a fuel barrel filler is because just because like the fuel barrel filler, the first barrel that goes in, it's only gonna have like 5 fuel, so it's not gonna start turning into a barrel. And then when the second goes in, it's only gonna fill in like 1 of the slots, and then the other 4 go into the flower picker. So we use a tank instead to make up for the storage, if that makes sense. Okay, so what I would do is I would use like a yellow or pastel yellow slab. It doesn't really matter. Pastels are more expensive, so you can use those to make it flex. I don't know, ever so slightly more expensive. Okay, so we're gonna place our fuel barrel filler here, and we don't make this one floating because this is something we're gonna place and break constantly when we run the farm. Well, not constantly, but like we're gonna place and break these a bunch. So go to how to use the farm and how the farm works to explain why that's the case. So we're just gonna place a slab there so we can replace it. But now here we're gonna place a chest here. So mark this in yellow so that we know that this is a fuel barrel filler. All right. So for only this top one, we're gonna place the chest here. So we're gonna do the top first, right? Okay. You know what? Let's make this chest float. I don't know. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so we place the grass here, bamboo here, then the chest here. I don't really break and replace this one, so I'm gonna make this chest flow. Obviously, you're gonna use a dev vending or something, so whatever. Okay, so now that that's sorted, now let's work on the timer. So this is where things get a little bit complicated, but I'll walk you through it. Don't worry. Okay. So, if you don't really want to care about how this works and you just want to make it and get it over with, just follow my wiring very closely, okay? So, let's, let me get a slab. Let's get our, so place a sensor here. Make some, like, grass here. Place splitter conveyor here. Place a sensor like that. So this splitter conveyor, output sensor, output sensor. So we're gonna do that again. Splitter conveyor, output this one sensor, this output a sensor, and then here we're gonna do it out here. So this splitter conveyor, this output has a sensor, conveyor sensor, and this output has a conveyor sensor too, just like so. And then finally, we're gonna do another one right here. So this conveyor has a sensor. This one has a sensor too. Okay, let me Okay, remember, we're only doing this for the top module, okay? So break all the temporary blocks underneath it. Now we're gonna place slabs surrounding only the conveyor sides. So for example, we don't need a slab here, but we need slabs here because they ensure that petroleum barrels won't fall off, because we only get one petroleum barrel every 2.5 minutes. So if one falls off, it's really bad for our efficiency. So we're just gonna slab off the conveyors just to be safe. So on the sides where there's conveyors, so like for example, here, we don't need a block, but here, there's the conveyor attached to it. Here's the conveyor, so like, just block it off like that. So like this, and like this, and like this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then now we're gonna get our fuel barrel filler. And now let's place that here. So let me see, slab, right? So mark this with a yellow slab. And place our fuel barrel filler here. And place slabs right here. The reason we're using slabs here as well is so that we can access the electrite there too, to make it better. Okay. So now we're gonna place the tanks. We're gonna place the tanks floating. So let's do that. Where's my grass? Okay, grass. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a tank right here. So that means we're gonna place this here backwards, and we're gonna place the bamboo here. Press R twice, and place the tank. Get the camera angle right, and let's see where can I place it. Maybe I place it right here. Yep, there. And we're gonna do that 5 more times. So where we want to place it, we're gonna want to place it right here. So make this bamboo, And then right here, we're gonna place this in the other direction. Press R twice. Like that, okay? And we want 5 tanks, so there's 2 so far, we need 5. Okay. And because we don't have enough space, we can't make this extractor floating, but place a fuel barrel extractor. By the way, make sure you're differentiating the two. Make sure this is a filler and that one's an extractor, okay? Don't confuse them because I know they look very similar. You see this? The extractor has vents here, the filler doesn't, I guess. That's how you differentiate them. But they look very similar. Okay, now we're gonna get a timed input output chest. Okay, let's place it right here. So this is the block we're gonna place it on. Let's make it float. Bamboo there, chest there, place it like that. Boom. Now set the time to 60 seconds, like that. Okay, so now we've got that done. Let's place chests now. Let's get some chests now. Alright, so this we're gonna place a chest like that. This is to store any barrels that would normally just get tossed in the void anyway. And we're gonna want to store them anyway because if they fall, they're gonna fall into the conveyors of the farm, and that might mess things up a little bit. So you know, just do this. You can also use telesellers if you find it annoying, or like dev vendings. I don't know how you're supposed to fit dev vendings here, but just find a way, I guess. I don't know. I said I'd do this is like a collab with Nate, I guess, kind of. So I think he could do that in his video, whatever. Okay, now let's work on the electrite. Now this is where things get a little bit stinky. So let's get our gates out. First, let's just place down the gates so we know what we're working with. So splitter. Okay, here's where things get stinky. We're gonna work on the electrite. Okay, so we're gonna make a set reset latch. So it's gonna be splitter here, XOR gate floating here, then an OR gate here. So we're gonna make the XOR gates float. So place XOR gates here, 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 and here. Now let's place grass and then the bamboo so to make it float. Oh god. Let me just make my way back here. Okay, slab right there. So off of each of these, we're gonna place an XOR with the forge hammer. It gets a little finicky trying to place it, but you have to get it right there. Now make sure you break the grass beneath it. Break these XOR gates, and then do it right here too. So off each splitter, like the center here to the left, I guess. That's where you're supposed to put it. All right. Alright, we don't need to make these float because we can just place them right here. You know, we already got blocks for it to support them right here. So, place an OR gate under the XOR and then a splitter on top. Like that. So as you can see, it's like this, like this, like this, and this. Okay, now follow this wiring carefully. Do not configure these splitters, okay? Pass through A goes into this input of the OR gate. Pass through the OR gate goes into input A of the XOR. XOR goes into the input of the splitter. This output of the splitter goes into the splitter conveyor. Okay? Don't worry about this or this. We'll wire those later. So now let's do it again. A to B. This to A, this to splitter, this to splitter conveyor. Okay? A to B, pass through to A, pass through to input, pass through B to splitter. Okay? Alright, like so. Simple, see? Okay. And now we're gonna what we're gonna do is off of this sensor conveyor, see the pass through is here. We're gonna make the wire length as short as possible, so the splitter is gonna be here. So the pass through from the splitter is a very short wire length. See? Just like that. So we're gonna place the splitters to the right, like this, right there. On the right of that conveyor right here, on the right of this conveyor, and this conveyor only. So place splitters there. Only these 3 splitters. Anything else is otherwise like that. Just place splitters like that, I guess. Take the pass through of the sensor that corresponds with the splitter into the input of the splitter, like that. This to that, and this to this, right? So this to that pass through. Alright, let me check my notes real quick. Okay, this splitter right here, set it to 80%, 20%, okay? Only this splitter, right? These two, ignore them entirely, okay? Now we're gonna place the combiner right here. Okay. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is take specifically pass through A of these 3 splitters. Alright, so pass through A of this splitter goes into the OR gate of this one. Pass through A of this splitter goes into XOR gate of this one. Pass through A of this splitter goes into the XOR gate of this one. Pass through of this sensor conveyor goes into the OR gate of this one. Okay? Pass through of this sensor goes into the OR gate of this one. Pass through of this sensor goes into the XOR gate here. Pass through of the XOR gate here. I mean, no. I'm stupid. Pass through of this sensor conveyor goes into the OR gate here. Pass through of this sensor goes into the XOR gate here. Okay? And for these outputs, we're gonna deal with those much later. Okay? Now we're gonna power the thing, so we're gonna make power, okay? So let's get a splitter and get a steam generators. Okay, so off of here, let's make it float to make it more organized. So place bamboo here. We're gonna place splitter, then an OR gate, like that. Break that, and then here, we're gonna place a steam generator right here. So to place it, we're gonna go here, bamboo here, press R twice to place it backward, like that. Floats. Okay. Now we're gonna do it again here. Backwards. So, just do it like this to make it more organized, you see? Okay, now we're gonna repeat it. Splitter, OR gate. And then we're gonna place bamboo here. Bamboo. That. OR gate like that. Okay. And we're gonna do that for this right here. So splitter, ore gate. Place bamboo here. Like that, so now they're floating. Steam generator here, bamboo here. Now it's floating. Press R twice, you know. Okay, so now we're gonna do this very carefully. This splitter conveyor set to 60%, 40%. Okay, so this splitter set 60-40. This splitter set 60-40. This splitter set 60-40. These three leave 50-50. The ones on top of the ore gate, okay? So now follow this wiring very carefully. Take the output of the steam generator to input A of the ore gate. Take the ore gate, pass it through to the splitter. Pass A of this splitter back into the ore gate. Pass B of this splitter into this splitter. Okay? Let's do that again. Pass steam generator to A of ore. Pass ore to splitter. Splitter back into ore. B to splitter. Steam to A of ore. Pass ore to splitter. Pass splitter back into ore. Pass B into another splitter, okay? So, A of this splitter goes into the input of this sensor. B of this splitter goes to the input of this sensor. A goes into this one. B goes into this one. A to this one, and then B to this one. And now this one is a little special because we need a little bit more power because there's two splitters here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a combiner here. Like so. And then I'm gonna do the splitter, ore gate. The ore gate's here. Need to break the chest so that it splits. So make it float, so do it like this. So splitter, ore gate, and then steam generators right here, so like that, and then make it float, so like this, place bamboo here, like that. Place splitters like so. Alright, let me check my notes real quick. Okay, this splitter, 60-40. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing we did for these. So, this to A, pass the splitter, pass back to ore, pass to this splitter. Alright? Now, take A of this splitter, pass it to A of this combiner. Take B of this splitter, pass it to this sensor conveyor. Take the pass-through of this combiner, pass it to this sensor conveyor. Okay? Okay. And let's replace the chest here. Okay. Okay, so now it works. Okay. So this is only for the top module because this is our timer. Now we're going to work on the receivers. These next modules are going to receive power from this timer, okay? So let's do that right now. So, this is our second module, right? Okay. The input of this fuel barrel extractor, place a sensor, and place a splitter conveyor. Now, here, let's place a merger. And then here, let's place a splitter conveyor. And then we need a tier 2 conveyor. Right here. And then we need a merger here and here. And then here we're going to place a floating time chest. So timed input output. Place this. Like that. And place bamboo here. Place forge hammer onto the chest. Like that. Okay. Set this time chest to 30 seconds. So let's see. No, that's 30. 30. Okay. Break any unnecessary grass blocks, I guess. Okay. Now let's get our slabs, and we're gonna slab off everything. Slab, 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 slab. Okay, so remember, slab only the sides that correspond with conveyors. So like for example, we don't need to slab off this section, right? We only need to slab off the ones with conveyors touching. So if you want, you can just fill this entirety in like this, and then break this, and yeah, only break those. Slabs here, slab there, slab there, and slab like that. So it should look like this, okay? Okay. So, because this is the first module, it's gonna be a little special, because remember how I said one of the, these things need a little extra power so that it actually kicks in? So instead of adding a whole new steam generator, we're gonna steal a little bit of this module's power. So how are we gonna do that? Let me show you. So let's get a splitter. Let's get an ore gate. Let's get a coal generator. Let's get an XOR gate. So now we're gonna do splitter. Then no wait, no. We're gonna do ore gate floating here, right? Here. We're gonna do splitter here, then XOR gate here. And then from here, we're gonna do splitter, splitter, then OR gate, right? So we're gonna make this float. Actually, wait, I messed up. They're gonna float right here. So splitter, splitter, OR gate. Hold on, I fell. Okay, so like that, and then place this right here. Now let's get a coal generator. And we're gonna make it float right here. And make sure when you place it, that the little bulb thing, it's like right there, okay? So now follow this wiring closely. Splitter, OR gate. Let me check my notes real quick. Okay, so let's redo that. Whole generator, input A of OR, pass OR to splitter, pass splitter back into OR gate. Take this, pass it into this splitter right here, this splitter. 80%, 20%. Take A of this splitter, input it to this sensor conveyor. Now let's build the set reset latch. So, pass through A. Oh wait, this should be an XOR gate, my bad. Let me fix that real quick. Okay, so this is XOR gate, this is the OR gate. Okay, so pass through A of this splitter to pass through input B of this OR gate. Pass OR into A of XOR. Pass XOR to the splitter. Pass B of the splitter to the splitter conveyor. Okay? Input A of OR gate is taken from this sensor. Connect that to the pass through the sensor, alright? And now, pass through B of this splitter. Take it, reset, go back to the farm while still holding it out, and wire it into input B of this combiner. Get it? Hope you get it. Okay. So now we stole a little bit of its power and we're gonna gift it to that over there. That's why we did that whole thing. Because you notice these have 2 splitters, so they're gonna need a little extra power to send to these receivers down here. That's why we stole a little bit of the power. Because it's a lot more efficient to just steal the power than make a whole nother one of these things. Because you use less steam generators or coal generators or whatever. Alright? Okay. So now we're going to take this tank and we're going to place a fuel barrel filler. Alright, and make sure to do it like this to get the slab over there, because you don't want to place blocks off here, because then once you break those blocks, you're going to break the thing with it, so be careful with that. So do something like this so you can get a slab over here. Place a fuel barrel filler, and okay, from this tank, we're gonna place a pipe here, turn it, right? And we're gonna place yellow slab here so we can mark it that it's fuel barrel filler, right? Now we're gonna place a splitter conveyor, right here, all right? And then we're gonna place a conveyor turn right here. So a right turn, like that. And then we're gonna block off only this, and we're gonna block off these conveyors right here. Okay, so you don't need to block off this, because you see tier 2 conveyors, they already have walls like that, so okay. So now we finished this module, which is kind of weird, and the top module, which is the most complex. Now the bottom 2 modules, they're both the same thing. So let me show you one, and then you just copy the other down here, okay? Well, I mean, this is just a slightly different because we use an extra splitter here to steal some of its power, you know? So whatever. Okay, let me show you how to do the other modules. So we need a sensor conveyor and a splitter. Okay. So it's pretty much the same thing. We need a tier 2 conveyor. Place merger like that. Splitter right here. Tier 2 conveyor right there. Place a merger right there. Place a merger right here. And then now we need a floating chest. Set the time of this chest to 30 seconds. 30 seconds, okay. Break all the unnecessary grass. Alright, let me get a slab. Pick block. Ah, what the heck? Ah! Okay. So, block off the conveyors like so. Like this, and this. It's been like over 2 hours of me filming this tutorial. I'm getting a little lazy, but whatever. It's a pretty complicated farm, so it comes with the territory. Okay, blocked like so. Okay. Now we're gonna get a fuel barrel filler. Right there, we're gonna get pipe. Right here. Okay, so pipe here. Then turn it like that. Then we need slab, yellow slab, just to mark it that it's fuel barrel filler, like so. Okay, and you're gonna split. I mean, not split. You're gonna get a splitter conveyor. Place it right there, and then we're gonna get a turn. Right conveyor belt right here. Now we're gonna block off these conveyors so that nothing falls out. Okay, there we go. 30 seconds on the chest, right? Okay, now let's get the electrite done. So, gate, and splitter. So, this is the XOR gate. We're gonna make it float right here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Perfect position. See, sometimes for floating blocks, it's just weird placing them down. Okay, like that. Now we're gonna get a coal generator right here. Place bamboo right here. Coal generator. Splitter. Okay, no. You only need one splitter here, so one splitter, ore gate, coal generator, okay? I'm gonna place forge hammer here. Okay, so now I'll put this to the input A of ore, pass this to splitter, pass splitter back into ore, take B of splitter into this conveyor sensor. Take the sensor, input it to A of this ore gate, pass A of this splitter to this ore gate, pass ore gate to X ore gate, pass X ore to splitter, pass splitter to splitter conveyor. Okay? Now, you're just gonna repeat this down here. Okay, now we're done. Now last step for the electrite. We're going to take pass through B of this splitter. Right? No. Okay, last step. We're gonna take pass through B of this splitter conveyor, input it into XOR gate here. We're gonna take pass through B of this splitter, input it to XOR gate here. Then we're gonna take pass through B of this splitter and input it to the XOR gate here. So yeah, pretty long wire lines. Alright. So now let's test to see if our electrite works. So first of all, we're gonna place one coal here, one coal here, one coal here, one coal here. Alright. Then we're gonna place one coal here, one coal here, and one coal here. Alright, for the sake of testing, you're gonna get a chest. Input output chest, alright? Alright, just put in like grass or something. Okay, let's wait a minute for these to stop receiving power, right? And if you did it right, once they burn out, you see how they burned out and these things are still on? That's because of this little feedback loop we did, which still generates power. If you built on a Rest LPC farm, you know how this works, I assume. So yeah. Now, let's see. Okay? So if I place a glass block, just one grass block. Alright, 59. Every time it passes through a sensor, it should change the direction of the previous splitter that I just passed through. Okay? Right? Now let's place another grass block. So this should go to here, into this chest, and that should turn that this way. And now let's see, next grass block will go into there. See? And now let's take out a grass block and let's see. Is this, let's see. If this thing is pointing forward, that means you did it right. Now let's place in a grass block until we hit this conveyor. No, wait, not that conveyor, this conveyor. Let's see. Once it hits this conveyor, this should move forward as well, right here. Now let's see. Once it passes this conveyor, that means this conveyor. That means this should point forward. And yep, it did. Okay. So it works. So basically what's going on is that this is a timer, right? So ordinarily, this would point to the right and barrels will loop around back into the chest. But once every 20 minutes, this timer will signal this thing to place a barrel, and once a barrel is placed, this will scan it, and then it'll go back to looping around, okay? So that means the flower picker only gets one barrel every 20 minutes. And then that means that this junction, right, it inputs one petroleum into here, maybe sometimes two, and then the rest go to this tank. And then this tank recycles the petroleum back into this loop. You see that what I'm doing? Right? Hope you can understand now. And this is used as a timer, you see? And instead of doing a wired signal, we can just connect the timer directly to one right here. Okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Alright. Now for the flowers. Okay, so you have two options. First, let me show you lavenders. So, for example, say I want to make bee lavenders, only bees. So that means what you would have to do is this bottom layer right here, plow this entire area. Take out any flowers if you already have them there, just plow this entire area. If you want to do lavenders for bees. So plow this entire area. This is because when you're AFKing, flowers can spawn in here and redirect the bees' attention to them down here. So we just plow this area. And then we're gonna place lavenders like this. So there should be a 2-block gap here and a 1-block here. And then place lavenders like on this side, like this. So there should be a 2-block gap here and a 1-block gap here. And do not place anything on the bottom layer. So this is for bee lavenders. So only for the ones that make bees. You can only use one layer because the bees cannot pollinate that many. Now, if you want to do anti-bees, ones that don't need bees, let's say this is like red right here. Let's just say hypothetically that orange and orange made something because I'm too lazy to pick out other flowers. Anti-bees, you want to unplow this area, right? And you're going to want to place lavenders like this. Two blocks here. Oh wait, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Like this. 2 blocks here. Then place 2 rows of flowers like that. And then place row of flower like that. Okay, is this right? Yep, it's right. Like this. So when you're doing bee flowers, do not do 2 layers. You might think, oh, well, there's more flowers, so that means there should be more to grow. Well, here's the thing. The bees will get too overwhelmed with too many flowers, and it'll cause even less crumb chrysanthemums, for example. So just imagine these are red. All these are red, because this is for non-bees, okay? Now, if you want to do something like blue plus yellow to make red, you'd place the lavenders Hold on, let me pick all these. So if you're gonna do like blue and yellow, you're gonna need to place the lavender like this. Two, one, two, there, one, two, like that. And then we're gonna do this, like that. Place one there, like that. Place one there, like that. So just do it like that, you know. Place one every other two, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, you get it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to non-lavenders. So, for example, you want to farm purple blocks, which lavenders can't make. You want to make purple stuff? All right, I got you. I got you. Let me show you. All right. Just plow like this straight across. And then this gap you don't really have to plow. Now let's get a normal plow. Okay. These two unplow. These two unplow. I'm using crystalline plow, so you want to plow like this. Oh, and by the way, when you're replacing flowers, make sure you do it pretty fast. Or like place some flowers on the side so that the bees don't wander off like they are doing right now, you see? Okay, now let's say we want to do purple roses, we're going to do it like this. So, like that. For non-lavenders, you could do double layered, okay? Make sure you do double layered for non-lavenders if you're using for bees. So let's plow it like this. All right, unplow that. Unplow this. Unplow this. Uh-huh. Like so. All right. Place pink roses like that. And now for the bottom layer, it's a little unique. So um you're gonna want to plow like this. And then we're gonna unplow over here every 2 blocks like that. Unplow this, unplow this, unplow this. And we're gonna place our roses like so. And then we're gonna have a 1 block gap like this, so no mundanes are made, you know. And like let's plow that. Okay, so you want to unplow this every 2 blocks. Like so. Roses like that. And like that. And make sure every time you change the flowers, make sure you change the flower picker as well. Because sometimes you might forget, you know what I mean? Okay, so yeah, now you get it. Just remember, bee lavenders, 1 layer. Non-bee lavenders, you can use 2 layers. Otherwise, you can use 2 layers. Even for bee non-lavenders, like for example, you want to make chrome chrysanthemums, you can use 2 layers. You might get a mundane or two after your AFK session though, but it's only like a couple. Okay, so just do it like this and you should be fine. Now, let me show you what to do when you run the farm. Okay, so when you come back from AFK sessions, break all the fillers, not the extractors. Just the fillers. So like for example, break this, break this, break this. And they should stay broken until you run the farm again, okay? So let's say you want to run the farm again. Let's get our fuel barrel fillers, we're gonna place them back. And then we're gonna place petroleum barrels into this chest. Place 60 for every 2.5 hours you want to run the farm. So like for example, with this is 300, so that's 2.5 times 6. So every 60 barrels runs the farm for 2.5 hours. So 60 times 2.5 with 300 wait, hold on. 60. Um. Okay. So each stack of 60 barrels will run the farm for 2.5 hours. So for every 60 barrels you put in, you run the farm for 2.5 hours. So for example, with 600 barrels, you'll run the farm for 25 hours. For 300 barrels, you'll run the farm for 12.5 hours. Okay, and the tanks are there to like store oil. And the reason we break and replace the fillers is because when you come back from AFK sessions, sometimes your tanks will be fully depleted, and you're just gonna make fuel barrel fillers, and you're gonna fill that flower picker, causing lag. So just remove the filler while you're not using it. That's why we removed it. Same thing with here. The tanks might still be full with oil after your AFK session, so just do that. Okay. And in your if you come back from AFK and these tanks are still full, just eyeball like place a little bit less barrels so that you don't like waste a bunch of petroleum barrels. You know what I mean? Okay. And clear the chests, obviously clear all the chests in the farm. And for these chests, these three chests, time chests, place 60 barrels for every 12 hours you run the farm. So for example, a 12-hour AFK, just place one stack of barrels. For a 24-hour, place two stacks, okay? Same thing with these. And every time you run the farm, when you rejoin, you got to input one coal into each of these steam generators and one coal into each of those coal generators. Now, I know the infinite generators exist, but because the infinite generators are constantly making power, they're a little little more laggy than these, because these aren't making power, so they're off, so they're not lagging the island. Okay, make sense? So, um, basically, that's pretty much it. I think. Oh wait, no, I need to show you. When you if you have Pro Pass, make sure when you use Pro Pass, change the day to always day while it's day. And then you do that every time you run the farm, and that will make it so it's always day. And important when you use Pro Pass, um, you only want to do 3/4 of the flowers that you actually would. So for example, this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. If you don't have Pro Pass and you're going day and night, just use 3/4 of the flowers that you would have. So for example, you have 66 lavenders, 0.75 times 66. That's 49. Okay, so use 50 bee lavenders if you don't have pro. Okay, so use 25% less flowers if you don't have pro. Okay, so yeah, your rates will be cut by 25%, but it'll mean you have better rates otherwise. Because if you place too many flowers, you'll overwhelm the bees or overwhelm the pickers. You know what I mean? If you're doing non-bee flowers, do not do that. If you're using non-bee flowers, do not decrease the amount of flowers you have in your farm. Okay? Got it? Okay, solid. Now let me show you how to position your cursor. Reset character, and you know what? Position your cursor like down like this. So commission it like this, and before you like completely go AFK, just stay for a bit and like do one full loop and watch your player. Make sure that it's watering all the flowers. Okay? To just stand there and make sure that waters all the flowers, okay? Like that. So you want your cursor to be on the bottom left, kind of like this, and you want to orient your camera like this. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. Like so. Works with lavenders too. Okay. All right. That should pretty much be it. You just place the flowers and the rest of the things when you'll do that, right? I guess. Okay. Bye bye.